So I don't really know where this is going to go. This is just kind of a thought I've been having lately. We, as Americans, have a huge country. A lot of different ideas in this country. A lot of different ideals in this country. The country is run by different groups of people throughout. I mean, in Minnesota, it's different than in Texas. Texas is different than California. We have something of a unifying idea. But it seems like a big chunk of our country, namely states like California, New York, and the radical left states, it seems like they don't have the shared value or agree with what we have as a projection for what this country should be. And it's putting me in this thought pattern of maybe we're not as safe as we think we are. Hang on a second. An ambulance going by. There we go. I was listening to a podcast. It was Timcast IRL, and their guest he's talking about the potentiality for war with China before 2030. Well, it's 2026. That's only 4 years from now. Okay, that's not far off. Is it possible? Yeah. Is it probable? Probably not. When we look at the rate, though, the technology has advanced, and we look at the possibility of war with China, I don't think it's something we should play around with. Well, maybe it might happen. We should just see what happens. I think it's something we should be a little more attentive on. On top of that, we have constant attacks on the president. And on top of that, we have unknown numbers of terror cells in this country. We know we have terror cells. We have an idea of how many there are, but we have an unknown number of how many people are in them. How big are they? We don't know. Are there 10 people in this terror cell, or are there 10,000 people? Is this a sizable army, or is this just a couple rabble-rousers? We don't know. We have the left, which I would argue should be designated a terror organization at this point, given the number of attempts on the president's life, the killing of Charlie Kirk, etc. I think we're in hot water. We're not as safe as we think we are. Now, that being said, we're not safe. It's still a relatively safe country. It's still a relatively safe place to live, especially for the everyday average people. There was, I can't remember the guy's name right now, but in Seattle, I think it was, he was murdered for wearing a MAGA hat. I mean, that's terrorism right there. That is left-wing terror, and we do nothing about it. Charlie Kirk was murdered by a leftist. It's left-wing terrorism, and we do nothing about it. I mean, time and time again, over and over again, we allow terrorism. We allow the destruction of our values. We allow our side to be attacked and murdered, and we don't do anything about it. We allow an immense number of Muslims into our country that call for the death of Christians and the death of America. We do nothing about it while they set up terror cells, while they build armies to attack from within. We're not in a safe spot. Our economy isn't great. Fuel prices are ridiculous. That leads to rampant inflation. The economy is terrible. Quite honestly, I'm very, very upset with Trump over the economy. It's awful. Finding a job is near impossible. Young people have no hope. People my age and younger are just hopeless. I'll never buy a house. Who in their right mind thinks someone like me can buy a house right now? The housing market just keeps getting more and more expensive, and jobs pay less and less. I mean, if you can find a job that pays $20 an hour, it's like finding the fountain of youth. Like, you'll never find that again. If you get fired from a $20 an hour job right now, it's like, oh my God, you just lost everything. And good luck finding a replacement. You find $15 an hour, but it's like, I went from a job where I was making $25 an hour. So to go from 25 to 15, it's not enough money. It's hard to justify it. You go from 25 to 20, sucks to take that big of a pay cut, but at least I'm making money still. But going from 25 to 15, 16, it's like a $10 an hour pay cut is like a huge drop. It's not something most people can handle. I mean, it's a huge change to how you live. It's a huge change to your expenses. And, right now, yeah, we're able to pay the bills with what my wife makes. Just barely hanging on. But part of that's because we get a hell of a deal on the rent because we rent off my mother. We just pay the mortgage. If we were renting off someone else, we'd be paying double what we pay. We pay $600 a month because that's the mortgage payment. And that was our agreement. We'll rent the house off of my mother. We'll keep the house clean and maintained. And, that goes to the cost of what someone else would charge $1,200 to live in the same house. If we rented off of one of the many slumlords in the area and we were paying $1,200 a month for rent, we would be homeless. We wouldn't have anywhere to live. People are often saying, oh, well, you should move. You should buy it. You should buy your own house. I can't buy a house as cheap as I can rent this one. I mean, like, I can't buy a house with a $600 a month payment. My brother pays $1,200 a month in rent. He tried to buy a house that was $800 a month. The bank denied him. How do you buy a house? If I'm showing you that I've lived at this house for a year, and for a year straight, I've never missed a rent payment. My rent is $1,200 a month. And you say, well, this mortgage would cost you $800, but I don't think you can pay it. How do I buy a house? I think we're in a dangerous spot. And, I think there's a lot of stuff I don't know. Okay, I'm not like a genius. I'm not a highly educated man. Okay, again, I'm a high school dropout. I've been winging it for 12 years. I don't know. I dropped out of high school when I turned 18. I'm turning 20, 11 years. I've been winging it for 11 years. I don't know how to fix these problems. I can identify them, and I can say, well, something ain't right here. I can see an issue. I can see a problem on the horizon, and I can say, well, we got to do something about this because this ain't good. I understand simple economics. I can understand that, more expensive fuel means more expensive groceries. I can understand, your simple economics. And I mean, at the end of the day, gas prices determine economics 90% of the time. But what I can't figure out is, how do young people find the motivation to wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to win. When it seems like we wake up, we get told, you're never going to win. Go work 7 days a week. Go work 6 days a week for $11 an hour. I'm sorry, but I'm not working 6 days a week for $11 an hour. I can't provide on $11 an hour. I can't keep my bills paid for $11 an hour. I can't keep my vehicle maintained for $11 an hour. Like, it's not enough money. With the inflation, with the way the economy is spiraling downhill, I can't do it on $11 an hour. No one can. Recently, I was talking with my bankruptcy attorney. My bankruptcy attorney said that My wife and I combined. Now, this isn't what my wife makes, this is what my wife contributes. My income plus my wife's contribution, and since we're not legally married, this is how we get around it. What I make plus my wife's contribution puts us at about 52 or 55 or something like that thousand a year. She told me that 55,000 a year for a household of two people is below poverty. How do you live below poverty at $55,000 a year for two people? When 25 years ago, 30 years ago, people could live with a family of four on 30 grand. People had a wife, two kids, two cars, and they worked part-time at the hardware store. Okay, maybe I'm being a little facetious. They worked full-time at the hardware store. I digress. How do you, for example, look at Married with Children. Al Bundy's the only one that works, and he works at a shoe store. He's not a millionaire, but he's got a car. He's got his two kids, his wife, the dog. Everyone's got money to spend. Everyone's happy. I mean, I understand, yeah, it's a TV show. Yeah, I get that. But my point is, reality wasn't far off from that. You could own a small store, and you could make it. Now you can't. There's no money in it. There's no money in anything. We are in, I don't want to say we're in danger, but we're very adjacent to danger as a country. We could be looking at, in the next couple years, a major economic collapse that brings us to our knees as a country. It would cripple us. We're already at a spot where young people can't afford to live. I mean, rent is $1,200 a month on average around me. Anywhere you go, any of the neighborhoods around me is about $1,200 a month. If you want to go into a little bit nicer neighborhoods, it's still $1,200 a month. If you want to go into the worst neighborhoods, probably looking $800 a month. But it's like you used to be able, my brother grew up in the hood, and he rented that house for $400 a month. Like, for a long time, he rented that house for $400 a month. And he kind of had a deal like I do with my mother, where like, hey, you know what? Don't raise the rent on me, and I'll do the landscaping, and I'll do this and that, and I'll do minor maintenance when things come up. My brother bought and replaced a water heater because he was like, we get a deal. This is part of our deal, and he was like, listen, here's the deal I'll make you. I'll buy the water heater, and I'll replace it. I'll do the labor. You cover this month's rent instead. And the landlord was like, yeah, okay, sure, we'll do that, because it saved the landlord probably $1,000. So my brother bought the water heater, which was, I don't know, $200, and then installed the new water heater. And for that 1 month, he had $200-300 rent. There was a time he broke a window on a door. The door wasn't closing right. He was trying to fix the door, and he got pissed off and slammed the door and broke his hand slipped and went through the window and sliced himself all up real good because it was plate glass. Well, he fixed the window. He told the landlord, and he fixed the window. The landlord was like, cool. It's part of the deal when you have $400 rent. That's not a thing anymore. That house right now is renting for like $700 a month. Same house. It's almost double. And it's not that my brother cost the guy money. It's that, the house was paid off, so the guy was just making $400 a month off my brother. Like, it was just free money coming in. So he was like, yeah, if this guy will do some work, okay, I don't have a mortgage to worry about. So he'll do some work. Okay, I guess I don't get my $400 this month, but I didn't have to pay to get the work done. I don't have to pay a landscaper to come in and fix everything. That doesn't happen anymore. Barter system doesn't exist anymore. And, it's something that even my mother and I were talking about recently. I did some landscaping, and my mother was like, hey, you know what? I know you guys are tight on money. I'll cover the water bill because you did $600 worth of landscaping just because. So I'll cover the water bill. It's like, yeah, I mean, cool. I appreciate that. That's it's something that it's like, do I expect it every time I do something? No, but I did a lot of landscaping. Uh, I mean, I cut out a ton of weeds, a ton of trees that had started growing. I mean, it was a huge fucking hassle, and there's more to do. But that was our deal, you know. You do this, I'll cover the water bill. Like it helps us out, it helps her out. I can buy parts for my bike because you know I need to be able to get around. And I still haven't found a car because here's another thing that I can't find anywhere. When I was a kid, we used to be able to buy decent cars for $1,500, $2,000. Now mostly pickup trucks, old SUVs, shit like that. And they'd be a little beat up, they'd be a little rusty, or they need, maybe it needs a transmission, but it's $1,500. That doesn't happen anymore. You look at a truck for $1,500 and you can't even drive it. Our economy is falling apart right in front of our faces, and we're just barely hanging on. And then Trump's over here with this war with Iran. Oh, I don't think people care that much. No, we do. We do because we can't afford to fucking live. And we're making ourselves very weak. And we're making the nation weak. The weaker the economy gets, the weaker the nation gets, the more disincentivized people get to go to work. Pretty soon, a country like China is going to be like, okay, it's time to attack. And with the video or with the conversation I heard about projected war with China before 2030. It's like, man, we're kind of fast tracking that by not being a strong nation. We need to be strong again. We need to be a net oil exporter again. We need our economy to grow again. Our economy is not growing. I've been looking for a job for almost 2 months now, and every job I find is terrible pay, no benefits. There's no point in doing it. It used to be you get a job, you work for a company for 20 years, maybe 30. You can retire with good benefits, maybe a pension. I've never seen a job offer a pension. The only jobs in my area that offer a pension is the union. I watched my dad. He worked for a company for 20 years, and I've told this before. They closed up shop overnight, sent everyone a text, and said, if you're over the road, get a taxi to the nearest airport, fly home, leave your truck where it's at, and we will reimburse you the cost of the taxi and the plane ticket. They just closed overnight. They're just like, yeah, we're done. They sold all the trucks to whoever was closest, or they let them get impounded and they let them get sold at auction. Whatever they did with them, I don't know. They just 20 years. My dad worked for this company, and they were just like, all right, later. Have fun. Figure it out. I've seen this story over and over and over again where people have said, oh, yeah, my grandfather worked at this company for 40 years, and then he got sick, and they laid him off and never called him back. My dad worked at this company for 25 years, and he got hurt, and they laid him off and never called him back. Like, I've seen it over and over and over again. It happens. Time and time again, it happens. It's creating a very weak economy because it's disincentivizing people to work for you. Why would I work for you if I watched this same company just drop everybody? Why would I work for another company that worked with that company? Well, I'm inclined to believe you're going to do the same thing. I don't trust any of these companies anymore. And another thing, these companies don't offer pensions. They don't offer retirement programs. Like, well, what's the point of working for you if you're not going to help me with a retirement program? The job market is saturated with garbage. Like, at this point, I would kill to be a garbage man. The only jobs around me that are decent are in the union, and the unions around me are terrible because they all donate to Democrats. And it's like, I don't really want to do that, but I mean, if I want to retire ever, I guess that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to go talk to the union. And what does someone like me do when, I'm strictly opposed to Democrats and their policies, and then I have to go work for an employer that's giving money to Democrats and their policies? So how am I supposed to feel about that? What am I supposed to do about it? Am I just supposed to be like, all right, yeah, whatever, it's no big deal? Or am I supposed to be like, man, I don't like this, and then get fired over it? Now I've lost the only good job in the area. It's a real conundrum because when people have no money, People have no way to stand up and say, hey, enough is enough. Then we lead to nobody wants to work. So it's like, well, nobody wants to work. So what's the point of going to work? People don't go to work. Manufacturing doesn't get done. Manufacturing gets behind. A military industrial complex requires a lot of manufacturing. So if manufacturing is not getting done, the military industrial complex isn't being supported. If the military industrial complex isn't being supported, the military gradually grows weaker. You can have more people, but at the end of the day, people don't win wars anymore. Drones win wars. We just need people to occupy street corners. Drones win wars. Planes win wars. If we don't have drones, if we don't have planes, we don't win wars. We become a very weak military. Yeah, we can occupy your street corner, but we can't clear your street corner. So what's the point? I mean, we can't send Delta into every district that we want to occupy and fucking occupy it. We're in a very weak position right now. And I don't understand. I mean, no country takes us serious since Biden was president. No country looks at America and goes, yes, that's a serious nation. Since Joe Biden was president, we have not been taken seriously. I mean, Trump's been jerked around by Iran how many times on this deal, on this peace deal? I don't think it's ever going to happen. Allegedly, they're signing it in Versailles. Allegedly, it's happening. It's already happened, maybe. I don't remember what the date of the signing is supposed to be. But I also heard that Israel violated that same agreement. So I don't really know. It seems like we've allied ourselves with the worst people. We've stepped away from being an independent nation, and we've decided to just act like a fucking dog with rabies and chase anything that moves. Nothing really makes any sense. I mean, I think with the whole oil deal, I think the goal is to get control over the oil and the oil flow so that we can slow China down. I think that's the goal. But again, if we're projecting war with China by 2030, is that going to be the catalyst? Or is that going to be something that ensures we win the war? I don't know. I just feel like we are in a really, really bad place right now. We're not on stable footing. It's like going into a fight after you've already had the crap beat out of you. Like, you're probably not going to win that. I just feel like there's no forward momentum right now. It feels like we're just stuck in the mud spinning our tires. And the more we spin, the deeper the holes get. And these are holes that our children and our grandchildren have to dig to get the vehicle out. I mean, that's really how, like, that's the only way I can really understand. That's really the only way I can explain it is we're getting a truck stuck, and our children and grandchildren are going to have to get this truck out, and we've just gotten it so stuck that it's like there's almost no way to fix it. Our economy's falling apart. It is terrible. Can't buy a house. Like I said, my brother pays $1,200 a month in rent and gets denied for an $800 a month mortgage. I don't understand how you get denied for an $800 a month mortgage when you pay more than that in rent. It makes no sense to me. These jobs don't pay. The banks won't loan. The economy's falling apart. And I almost wonder if part of it is the jobs don't pay and the banks won't loan because of that. Because they know if this person loses this job, yeah, they've got a good job now, but if they lose that good job, they can't afford this. So no, I'm not giving you any money. It just makes me wonder in the next 5, 10, 15 years, do we have a nation, or are we just kind of standing there looking like a nation? I mean, it's said that great nations only last 200 years. We're at 250. So, I mean, we're beyond it. We've definitely crossed the threshold, so maybe this is it. Maybe we won. This is as far as the game goes, and now we're going to fall apart into communism or something. I don't know. If that happens, I know I'll see y'all in the gulags, I guess. We'll fucking be breaking rocks together. I don't know. I don't know where we go. The economy's bad. Mental health on everyone is terrible. Men's mental health especially is awful. I mean, as a men, our mental health is terrible. Nobody cares about our mental health. We don't even care about our mental health. Men are fucking committing suicide at an extremely high rate. It just seems like nothing's going right now. Like I said earlier, terror cells. We don't know how many terrorists are in them. We know there's terror cells in every major city. We don't know who the members are because they came here illegally. We have no way to know who they are without catching them and rolling them up. We don't know who they are. We don't know what their goals are. We don't know what their objectives are. We don't know if they're Al Qaeda. We don't know if they're Antifa. We don't know who they are. We don't know why they're here. We know they're here. We just don't know why. We've got terror cells. We've got fucking weak economy. We've got no hope. That's the biggest thing, is there's no hope. Nobody is hopeful that we'll come out of this. Everyone's sitting there going, man, we're all fucked. And then you look at the younger kids, the younger generations, and you look at them and you're just like, oh, we're really fucked. These kids can't get off of TikTok for 5 minutes. It's like, how are you going to be setting policy decisions in 20 years when you can't get off TikTok for 10 minutes? It's like you can't even have a conversation with my nieces before they ADHD out and go fucking chase the dopamine somewhere else. It's like it's impossible to have conversations with these kids. How do you teach them anything? I don't know where we go from here, but I don't think it's good. I think we are in a dark place. We are not secure as a nation right now. Anyway, I've chattered about this enough. This is something that's been weighing on my mind. I don't know what we do. I don't know how we fix it, but thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see y'all in the next one. That's all I got for you.